Hello everyone, this is FeelGood of FeelGood Gunpla with a Gunpla review of the Master Grade Virtue. This is part 1 of this review of the Gundam Nadleeh mode. Now the Gundam Virtue has been one of my favorite mobile suits from the Gundam anime series, Mobile Suit Gundam 00 Season 1. To be honest, I'm more of a Virtue fan than this form, the Nadleeh. However, I never expected this form to look and function so good. Let's jump right into the positives and negatives. Positives. Color and part separation is actually pretty good on this kit. Better than I thought. Even though, like, when just focusing on the color separation, it's mostly white, but it does have a few red parts and gray parts, red being the helmet, and the gray parts are being all out through his body. Of course, if you want to count the caper hair things coming out of the helmet, there's that. The detail is actually very good on it. Originally, I thought the detail would be lacking when it came to this form. Why? Because I guess some part of me thought that just maybe the Nadleeh would be a little less of importance. So therefore, the detail and color separation stuff would be focused on the Virtue more. But as I start to build it, I start seeing more of that detail and everything. So definitely the Nadleeh, I guess, caught me by surprise, on how much detail and color and part separation it has. The panel line opportunity is there. I mean, to make them panel lines stand out, they're there. The stiff joints help with posing, but I feel like it helps more with the Virtue mode better than the Nadleeh here. Posability of this kit is good. You can get the basic poses like your rifle pose, your G cannon pose, your neutral standing to the side pose if you want to do any of that. So you can basically get the basic poses down, which is pretty good. It comes with stickers, but I use water decal stickers on this one. Only way I end up getting the water decals in this case is because the seller I bought this kit from on eBay included those with the kit. So I'm glad they did that. Definitely, I would say the stickers, whether they're water decals or just the normal ones, do help break up more, do help separate more with the color separation. Like I said before, it is mostly a white kit. The gimmick with the caper hairs is okay, but I will explain more probably with the negatives on that, on the caper hair thing. This is like definitely a kit in this form, this part of the kit, definitely can stand alone by itself. It's literally right now a kit. Like, you don't really have to do any more to it. Sorry, got a little too excited there. Sorry about that. It's one of those, it can stand alone. Like, if you did not want to build anything else, or you're like a Nadleeh fan, you can stop with this and you can be done. And the kit will hold its own. Or, if you wanted to, let's say, buy 2 kits, have one Nadleeh, one Virtue, you can do that, because this form alone can be its own kit. Well, to be honest, it is its own kit. So, with that being said, very nice. Well, it's that time. The negatives. Now, I'm finna get what I always call this the personal negatives, which basically, if people don't know by now, it's basically negatives that depend on, I guess, my point of view on what I think is a negative with this kit, what I personally don't like about this kit. And that would be the stiff joints sometimes are a little too stiff. In some ways, you feel like when you're posing the kit, you're either underposing it or overposing it, if that makes sense. Because the joints don't want to half move. Now, like I said before, when it comes to the Virtue mode, that is good because it helps hold that big GM bazooka. However, in the Nadleeh, it's also good, but when, let's say, for example, this pose you see here, which is the rifle pose. It took me a little while to get there because the rifle was aimed either too high, too low, the shield was not close enough, the legs, it's one of those things like you have to take a little more time to get that pose in because of the joints they're stiff, which to me it's a double-edged sword, basically. It keeps its pose and it makes it a little harder to pose. It is what it is. That's just my little, I guess you say, pet peeve of what I don't like. I like it. Well, put it this way. I like it and don't like it at the same time. And I'm just going to leave it at that. So let's get, in my opinion, all the official negatives. I think I'm not the only one experiencing this. Also me trying to think objective, what would be something wrong with the kit. That being, like I said before when I said the cable hair, effect is there, but here's that. The cable hair effect part that you see here, it's me looking at visually, it's okay. It gets the job done of showing the cables coming out of the helmet. But at the same time, a part of me kind of wish they could have maybe used a different material to show that. Maybe if they used a different material, maybe it costs more. But, there's that. Plus, on top of that, the main reason when it comes to this effect part is the fact that this effect part has a tendency to come off the helmet. Especially when you are posing with it. This effect part gets in the way of posing. Like, it limits what you can do in a pose. And sometimes when you are trying to, turn the head, get the arms and legs and stuff, position right, not only will this cause the effect part, the one I pretty much is the main problem, is the effect part that connects to the back of the helmet here. It comes in like 3 pieces here. And one of 2 things will happen. One, the whole piece comes from off the back of the helmet. 2, one part that is part of this will fall from the bottom of it. The next thing you know, you got a part of this effect part on the ground, the floor, and you could possibly lose it. Now, I can see one could say, hey, all you got to do, throw you some plastic cement or some super glue, whatever, to keep that part still. Well, that would work probably if you're trying to keep the cable part, the cable hair effect part itself together. But the problem would be the back of the head. I thought of sticky tack, but that is, one, with the sticky tack, it's a little time consuming to get the sticky tack amount just right to put in there to get it to stay. 2, at least for me, I feel like this may pertain to other people. If you, like me, you only have one Virtue and you basically just got the Nadleeh form to, pose it like this for a while and then, put on the parts to make it Virtue, you really don't be that how can I say it, dedicated to that. Because it's that effect part's not gonna be there, so there's no use trying to put all that time and effort. And let's say if I did, for the very least, put sticky tack on that, in order to put that piece back on the back of the helmet so it can be flush so it won't interfere with more stuff going on the helmet, you have to clean that sticky tack out, and that's a pain. For me, I just kind of, in a way, I hate to say this, limit my posing. And just make it so it don't fall off as much, because I know I'm going to transform it into the Virtue. And for me, once it's in Virtue form mode, it's going to stay there for a while. So it's just, that's for me is a negative in the fact that you're going to have a problem with that. Just that fake part either falling apart or coming off the helmet. Now another one is when I was posing with the GM cannons. Now I kind of understand if people don't experience the same thing I have, because the effect part the pose I did with GM cannons was that arms stretched all out. I'm gonna throw that picture up there, and you probably will notice that the GM cannons that are pointing towards the camera are not fully extended. Why? Well, that GM cannon fell so many times out of the hand because it only has the handle that, comes out, that deploys out of the cannon for the Nadleeh to hold. That's the only thing really holding it. Yeah, there's the hand kind of pegged into it, but the way the hand is pegged into the fist, the fingers basically pegged into the fist, if you're not careful, gravity will pull it off. Gravity basically will just snatch it down. For me, multiple times. And the thing is, it was just really hard trying to find the right time to kind of mess with the GM cannon to keep it from falling apart. And the fact that I didn't want to use a more permanent solution, I didn't want to fool around with the sticky tag, because like I said before, my end goal is Virtue. Once I transform the Virtue, it's going to stay there. Now, any permanent things like plasmid would be used for Virtue, because once I get the Virtue, it's not going back to Nadleeh. I'm sorry, it is just not. I basically did the net like this just because the Nadleeh just had so much going for it that I was just like, it was a shame just not to show it, So yeah, the two things that I messed up with that, let me rephrase that. The two things that are negative towards this is the fact that the cable hair effect part just falls apart or falls out the kit. And also affects posability. When posing with GM cannons, the hands are just maybe. I'm put it this way, for the benefit of the doubt, if you can maybe pick a different GM cannon pose, it may not be so much of a problem. But I feel like as long as gravity has an effect on that, you are going to have problems with the GM pose. So basically, the hair effect part could be better. GM posing is a pain. To conclude, would I recommend the Nadleeh form of this kit? Yes. Yes, I would. The detail is good. Color and part separation is pretty good. The panel lining opportunity is definitely there. The posability is pretty good. This form can definitely stand alone by itself as a kit itself. However, the only two things are holding this form back is the cable effect part, with it either falling apart or falling off the helmet, and posing with the GM cannons is a pain. Other than that, the Nadleeh is definitely a part of the kit, a form of the kit that I do recommend. And whether you just transform it to the Nadleeh and don't do anything else, or if you buy two kits, have one as the Nadleeh and one as the Virtue, or if you're doing, something similar to what I'm doing, where you pose it for the Nadleeh for a little bit and then transform it to the Virtue. Either way, at the end, the Nadleeh form is definitely, I definitely would recommend. I hope everyone enjoyed the video. I appreciate everyone taking their time out today to watch my videos. I really appreciate it and it means a lot. And I wish everyone a good day. Later.